One of the biggest events in StarCraft 2 history may not seem all that significant today, but those very matches marked the beginning of a radical shift in the balance of power on the pro scene. Today we're going to talk about Neeb and how he became the first player from the United States, and in fact from anywhere outside Korea, to defeat South Korea in a StarCraft 2 Premier tournament.
From Ronald Reagan's America, representing freedom, burgers, French fries, and all that is good in this world, it is Neeb!
These days, many people forget just how monumental that achievement was in its historical context, largely because of Cyril and soon after Rainer and Clem, who began consistently winning Premier tournaments and beating Korea's best. But throughout most of StarCraft 2 history, this situation was completely different. When Neeb first qualified for WCS America in 2013, Korean players had been winning every major tournament for years, and if we count StarCraft Brood War, for decades. At best, a European or North American player could hope for second place, and there were plenty of those cases, but expectations always collapsed in the finals, with the outcome following the same pattern: a foreigner barely missing the first place, fumbling under pressure. Everyone would talk about the skill difference and how it would take years to just catch up to Koreans, and when it came to North America, it had even less top-performing players, and there were plenty of memes about NA StarCraft 2 highlighting the drastic skill difference. Of course, WCS America was no different, and to skip ahead a bit, until the introduction of region lock, not a single non-Korean ever managed to win there. The region was packed with top players like Bomber and Jaedong, so it was understandable. Ironically, Neeb actually began his career as a Terran player, and not just trying that race for a few games, but grinding the race seriously for 2 full years at a competitive level. He even managed to reach the next round of WCS America twice, but in those 2 years he never once broke to the playoffs or had any other significant achievements. In 2015, Neeb made a sudden switch to Protoss, and by 2016 he was already achieving his first major results, most notably a runner-up finish at WCS Austin, where he lost in the finals to the Korean player Hydra. That alone was an incredible precedent in StarCraft 2 history. There has never been a case where a player, already relatively successful with one race, switched to another and became even stronger. Of course, players like TLO or Gumiho started out with random or experimented with 2 races at once, but that was usually only at the very start of their careers before they quickly settled on a main race. And that's a normal path. Even MaxPax actually started as a Terran player himself.
I started playing Terran, so I watched a lot of innovation.
And that was it? No process?
Yeah.
When did you swap
No
the Protoss,
Protoss.
actually?
When I found out I couldn't beat Protoss with Terran.
Realist. I like it.
Neeb's Protoss playstyle was extremely diverse. It included adept timings, Stargate openers, Blink Stalkers, disruptor plays, and strong macro, and just late game excellence. Overall, Neeb was a very well-rounded Protoss player, which made him an incredibly dangerous opponent. He even qualified for the KeSPA Cup, where he was set to face some of the best players on the Pro League and the global scene. But as it was always the case back then, no one truly believed that Neeb had any real chance to win the tournament. He had never even won a regional event in Europe or America under region lock, and he had not faced true top-tier competition in quite some time. Korea always dominated, time and time again. Their diligent work ethic, creativity and speed were unmatched. And before Neeb, there had been other strong contenders from Europe and America, players like Stefano or Scarlet, or fair-talking Protoss, Naniva, who twice reached the finals of prestigious tournaments, only to lose both times to Korean Zerg players. So everyone expected that this tournament would follow the established pattern. Neeb's first opponent was Rogue. Today, that name strikes fear into the hearts of his rivals, but back then Rogue was only beginning his career and he was quite far from his final form. He wasn't yet as consistent or dominant as he would later become. Because of that, Neeb looked fairly confident in this match. Next came Zast, the Kingslayer, one of the most dangerous opponents in PvP. This time once again Neeb was on top, and the second map was especially bizarre. Zest played mass adepts with glaives all the way into the late game, hoping to catch Neeb off guard with a mistake, but that never happened. The American player showed brilliant defense and took control. This way Neeb made it to the playoffs, where his next opponent was a Korean Zerg named Pat. Not much was known about him, and it was surprising that he had even reached the playoff stage at all. So Neeb opened with Glaive Adepts, that was his signature build, and also one of the most effective in ZVP at that time. Soon the score was 2-0, it was best of 5, and it looked like Neeb would advance without much resistance. But then Pat pulled out the dirtiest Zerg all-ins, cheesing Neeb every single game that followed. First, a successful early pull, then a Zerling drop with a run by into Neeb's natural. And suddenly the score was tied 2-2, and the scariest part was still ahead. They had to play the deciding map on Dasan Station, one of the craziest and most brutal maps in the pool, with its record-setting rush distance, which was extremely short, and also it had a gold base at the natural, which was kinda good for Zerg race. And Pat went for a Baneling bust, a very logical choice I must say, and Neeb was poorly prepared. Despite even having a wall off, Pat still broke through, and it looked like a disaster for Neeb.
Making more and more adepts, and here we go, the Baneling's coming up, gonna hit that weak gateway, and it goes down.
Gateway goes down here, he's got these units in as much of a wall as he can here. Another adept will pop out soon, the rest of the game is not ready. Photon Overcharge goes down, but the pylon is not long for this world, and that will unpower this wall. He does not have power to get that next adept out. Pet is gonna try to cheese his way into the round of 4.
It looks like he may be able to. Let's, not call it yet here. We got all the probes now pulled off the line. He's able to warp in 2 more adepts. He finished that warp gate research. Very, very important.
Yeah.
But more and more Lings and Banelings coming across the map. This is not going to be an easy feat for Neeb.
But he can definitely do it. He can absolutely hold this. If he pulls his probes correctly, if he targets down these Banelings the right way. Remember the same larva problem that had last time. He could have, if he could just get a wall up at the top of his ramp, he absolutely can hold this. He needs to make sure he's getting good value with these adepts, and so far he certainly is.
He really is. Finishing that warp gate research was so important. Even if this unpowered gateway goes down, he's got a nice big amount of adepts now. He has to be careful, though, not to overextend. There's also no pylon nearby to help hold this.
And Pet even knows he's in a bit of trouble. He's trying to transition into a Roach Warren. This is a little bit concerning. Oh, I love the choice to carve down the Cyber Core.
He went for a super risky build order, Glaive Adepts plus double Stargate on the smallest map in this map pool. Normally you would like to play Phoenixes on a larger map because you need some time to build defenses at home in case of a sudden counterattack with Hydras or Roaches or even Mass Lynx, but here on the sand that was really crazy and it was an insane risk, but somehow it worked, dealing massive economic damage to Pat. What followed was a drawn-out back-and-forth counterattack, but Neeb ultimately came out on top.
Coming from this angle, this is, the most open spot on this map, basically, and he's caught some of these units out, and he gets the Revelation down.
Not even burrowed. Here's the Observer. If he keeps that alive, he maintains vision. Force field trapping these units. This should be the final fight. Neeb narrowly will advance to the semifinals here, force fielding these queens out.
It looks like it just barely. He's going to push up the ramp now. These units on the retreat, and more units streaming across the map. Neeb, he has done it. The miracle hold, just barely.
Surprisingly, this ended up being Neeb's toughest series of the entire tournament. After that, he defeated Stats 3-1 and then absolutely crushed Trap 4-0 in the finals, becoming champion and solidifying himself as the master of PvP. His disruptor control and the final moments of the battle against Trap are still worth remembering.
Okay,
here he comes.
He doesn't have that much anti-air here. The Mothership is fine to be in this position. Gonna
Huge hit with the disruptor. Is it going to be enough to keep Neeb alive? Another disruptor comes out, and here it comes.
He's going to buy some time here. Okay, he does not get that shot off.
He's holding on, man, somehow, some way.
The more, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Neeb. He has basically twice the worker count right now of Trap.
And disruptors are being produced at his base. They're going to be able to come out and fire right away. It is so important for him to get those shots. Is he going to commit here?
He's gonna. It looks like he wants to. And will commit, will kill a disruptor. Just needs to kite these away now. This overcharge gonna nearly kill this disruptor. One more shot.
Oh, so close.
All right.
Disruptor's not coming out. It's gonna get 2.
Nice shot there. The Mothership core is on the chase too. Correctly. Oh, see, even though he dodges the shot, he is gonna eat
a big
some damage.
hit though. A huge hit on the stalkers of Trap. Another disruptor shot in to get to the majority of those zealots there.
Loses only 3 stalkers for that snipe. Oh! The observer gives him vision over the line of sight. He sees this coming. And here comes another one, a blink away. The second one, there's no blink. No blink.
Oh!
That should be it. That should be it. Ow.
Look at that, yeah, look at that ping.
Oh, gonna get another one off here. One more, should be game. Will he do it? It looks like he will.
That's gonna be
GG! Neeb is your KeSPA Cup 2016 champion.
This was truly a historic victory. The United States had produced only a handful of strong StarCraft 2 players, but it was Neeb who finally broke Korea's 6-year-long domination of this game. Even more remarkable, he did it barely a year after switching to Protoss race, a unique record in itself. And while Neeb couldn't repeat the same success immediately at WCS Global Finals and other major events that followed, he had already opened the door for future stars like Serral and inspired countless others. It's hard to imagine now, but at the time this was absolutely unprecedented. Neeb would go on to remain the top non-Korean player in the world for quite some time, and this achievement was one of the most important milestones in StarCraft 2 history. It was the first sign that Korea's iron grip on this game was beginning to crack, and that the West was finally catching up. Few truly believe it then still, but soon it became reality, and today we have a much more diverse, balanced scene with champions from many different countries. And that's why Neeb's contribution was so significant, and his victory also motivated many Korean players to fight even harder to defend their prestige and status. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, check out our video on Bonjour in StarCraft 2. Good luck and see you next time.